What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Edison Club podcast. I'm your host, Mike, joined tonight by my good friend and my co-host, Justin Morgan.
What's going on, everybody?
It's been a minute since we've done an episode with just Justin and myself. A lot has happened, so we have a lot to discuss today. And I guess let's just kick things off and talk about this last weekend was the NAWCQ as well as the RBET. And Justin, did you go to both of those events? I actually don't even remember which one you ended up actually playing in.
So I had registered for the RBET, but we stayed up pretty late Friday night, and I was just so tired. And I was like, I really don't want to drive through because we had went somewhere Friday, and it took us about 25 minutes just to have the valet bring our car up to the front.
Oh, wow.
Because they were so busy. And I was like, dude, I do not want to have to get up and fight traffic, get breakfast, and then deal with like writing a deck list and everything. Plus, the deck I had just wasn't great in testing. So I was like, I'm just really not feeling it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just going to play the main event that I got my invite for, get my stuff or whatever, play it. And if I do bad, I'll just drop and do side events, which is what I did.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got the hat tournament coming up Sunday. So hat pods were kicking off left and right, dude, just because I guess the tournament Sunday.
Yeah, people getting some reps in.
Yeah, which I'm really glad because I think it showed people that if Konami just makes the events available, then people will play, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So they had like 17 pods the first day.
That's pretty good
considering everything else. Yeah, considering everything else was going on. So
yeah, considering in Orlando, I think they only got 2 Tengu pods to fire.
Yeah. So I played 2 hat pods Friday. I lost round 1 the first one, then I won the second one actually.
Oh, awesome! Good job.
Played a lot of my Dolces, and the cool thing about this year too is like I didn't have to get the Tengu mat. I just got points added to my thing, and then I could just go up there and get whatever mat I wanted with those points.
Nice.
Which is pretty cool too. But that also leads me, and this is just a feeling that I have, and this is going to lead me into our next discussion in a minute. So I want to go back to that, okay? The play mats, because it's really odd that they're doing that.
Yeah.
But so did that. So fast forward to Sunday, and I guess if you're ready to talk about what happened Sunday, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. So before we get into that, let me just give a quick shout out to a couple of things here. First off, I want to shout out our sponsor, as always, Sage's Secret. Head on down to ruxin34.com to pick up your Sage's Secret sleeves today. And I also want to just give a really big shout out to my good friend Sasha Egger. Sasha won the RBET in Indianapolis, which was absolutely insane. I couldn't believe that it happened. And it's not because I didn't think he was capable of it. Obviously, he's an excellent player. And he's deserved a win of this statue for a long time. But like when it finally happens, it just feels so surreal. And it wasn't even me that it happened to, it was him. And like I was just watching him getting the updates the whole day, and I was like, Sasha's gonna win. He's gonna win this event. And watching him play in the finals and win, it was just incredible. So shout outs to him. Shouts to our teammate as well, Chris Lee. I believe Chris finished in top 8 as well. So it was a very good showing for North Carolina at the RBET this past weekend. So once again, congratulations to Sasha on his win. And let's go ahead and get into the Sunday hat tournament, where it kind of seems like everything, as far as Retro Yu-Gi-Oh, just started to go on a pretty steady decline, starting with this hat tournament. So go ahead, Justin.
Yeah. So by the way, congrats, Sasha. Sasha's a really good player. Just want to throw that out there to everybody. Was backing him in the tournament, and
yes,
nobody can dispute his talent and skill. In the game in general, Sasha's really good across all formats. If you guys don't know,
yes, he plays a lot of different formats.
Yeah, he plays everything from I think Yugi Kaiba Reaper format up until I think anything like pre-Duelist Advance, maybe even some after. I don't know.
Yeah, but I know it's up until hat format.
Yeah. So let's get to the meat of why we're here, right? So I went ahead and I made my deck list for this hat event several weeks ahead of time, with the impression, because this was advertised as July 2014 format, but the April ban list.
Yep.
This is how this was advertised. So I main deck certain things. And for example, I was playing Evil Form, which is not the best deck in the format, but you can put a lot of floodgates in the deck. I like Vanity's Emptiness. You can put Macrocosmos,
Yeah.
which is really good against the best decks in the room, right?
Yeah.
And another meta call that I made was Skullmeister, because in hat format, Skullmeister works in the damage step. So it takes care of the biggest threat against my deck, which is the hand. And it takes care of the artifacts too in certain instances.
Yeah.
So I made this main deck, get to the tournament, and I'm seeing some rumblings in the group chat. People are trying to make their deck list the night before, but it's not letting them add more than one gear, which in half format is unlimited, which is the best card in the deck. It gets the deck rolling, right? It's saying it was limited. And the side deck was going by the July 2014 ban list. So I get to the venue and I ask a group of judges, hey, what's going on? What's the deal? Can we draw first? What ban list are we using, et cetera, et cetera? They're like, yeah, you can draw first. We're going by the April ban list. We're not sure what's up. It's a side deck issue as far as making the deck list. Okay, not my problem. I'm not playing the deck. Sucks for the other guys, but it is what it is, right?
Yep.
Easier for me. Easier for me. So I was like, well, I'm gonna be safe and just ask another group. And I was talking to Max Zarin. He's like the E3 of hat format on YouTube. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah.
But I was talking to my messenger, like, hey, here's some issues going on. This is crazy. Have you heard anything? And he's like, no, but can you ask around just to check? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I asked another group of judges, this time up at the table. And they're like, yeah, we're using the April ban list. We just call it July because it's the July format for the NAWCQ back then. Skullmeister works in the damage step, et cetera, et cetera. You're good to go. Okay, cool deal. Get to the table, and they have like 128 players, but there's like 8 or 9 buys, and I'm one of them. So it doesn't make sense. Like, can't you just pair some of these buys up,
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was like, okay, I'll take a round one win, no big deal. So we sit down in our spots, and they announced that, hey, we got some changes at the player meeting. This is what we're going to do. First off, we're going to go by modern policy. There's going to be no draw for the first turn. Gold Monster does not work in the damage step. They specifically mentioned that. And we're going to go by modern policy, rulings, erratas, et cetera, et cetera. While erratas really don't affect format a lot, the draw turn, the drawing for turn does, because it makes decks like Mermail better going second.
Yep.
And it makes decks like Infernity better going first. So that changed a lot of things. People were initially upset. So I raised my hand like, hey, what's the deal? This is advertised. They're like, hey, it's not us, it's the side deck. I'm like, okay. So I go up there after the round starts, and I got some time to kill. Go up to the side deck, and they're like, "Oh no, it's not our decision; it's Konami's." Okay, go back to Konami, and finally, I get to speak to. I don't know if he's like a head floor judge or whatever he is, but he's up there.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, we made this announcement a few weeks ago that we were going to go ahead and go by modern policy." I said, "Okay, but you retracted that statement for Nats."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Well, this is what we're going to do now."
Yeah. Of
So
course.
complete disregard, and I said, "I want my money back for the events." And they're like, well, the event's already started and you got the buy, whatever. So you can just not show up to round two and drop and do side events. So I was furious,
Yeah, that's what I'm just like,
along with a
okay,
lot of
well,
other people.
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
call my credit card company and just charge back the amount. So
So this is Konami. Konami, they backpedaled, I feel like, so they would get people to show up to Nats. They would get people to do these events. And they let us do pods the day before with hat rules. The 2000 April ban list, the 2014 April ban list, they let us draw, first turn, no issues whatsoever. 3 gear, gear,
yeah.
no problems. They completely backpedal and change everything the day of. So I grabbed my stuff and I'm like, you know what? I'm just done for the day. I'm not playing anymore today. I'm gonna go home. So me and the guys, we got our stuff and we left. But it really put a sour taste in my mouth. And the more I got to thinking about it, I said, okay, why else would they care what playmat I get if they don't plan on phasing out these big side events like this?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's not going to happen because they do make a lot of money off side events. But when you look at, I think they had like maybe 40, 50 some Edison pods Sunday, right? Like that's what the number they were on Sunday. But they were on like Winamat number 200 and something, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, do they really need our money from the side events? And if they're not, promoting giving away these certain play mats or letting people just take whatever play mats they want, they're either A, cleaning up their play mat inventory, or B, they just don't care about the Time Wizard community and they're like, just get whatever you want.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is good to a degree, but it just seems really, really fishy.
Yeah.
So like they don't plan on making any more, Time Wizard play mats or whatever. So that's just something that's been in the back of my mind. And then we get home and OTSs start getting letters in the mail or getting emails sent to them. Hey, for tier 2 events and higher, we are going to do time travel rules, no more time wizard. And we've already seen some shops go ahead and say, hey, we're just backpedaling on time wizard in general. Because we just don't want to risk getting in trouble, or there's no point in doing it if, a month down the road we're going to have to do only time travel anyways. So that was my experience. I had a great weekend overall besides that. But dude, planning for weeks, I've planned for weeks for that format.
Yeah.
And I plan, so much for that just to be spat on right after the round starts. So that's my experience.
That's a whole rant. And there are so many people, and I've seen the comments the last few days just complaining, saying that retro players are just like the biggest crybaby community. And let me be the first person to tell you that no one that plays retro Yu-Gi-Oh! Asked for that much, okay? There were cards that needed to be reprinted that were very expensive, like Android, Amaryllis, Trap Dust Shoot, all these cards. But ultimately, at the end of the day, had those cards never gotten reprinted, they were still investments because once you had them for forever. So no one really complained about that. The main complaint was that for Ultimate Time Wizard, people just wanted the scaling system to work the same way, because if there's 500 players, it shouldn't be a top 8 tournament. It should scale appropriately. That was one thing that we really wanted to happen. The other thing was just for the events to just ran well. And I feel like as like a TO, like when you're hosting a tournament, your main goal should be to make sure that your players have a good experience. And I don't think that that's that much to really ask for. So all of this stuff that they've done, it's just so unnecessary because we just wanted to play, like we didn't care about anything else, like we just wanted it to scale. We wanted the events to use the rulings of the time, use the cards of the time, the card text of the time. That was it. And for some reason, you have these people that are just like I'm an admin of the Time Wizard. It used to be Time Wizard Format Hub. Now it's like Retro Community. There have been so many people just joining that group, and I feel like they're just doing it just to like join, to just like poke fun at people, like, haha, what you enjoy is gone. I don't really understand why people hated the fact that we were kind of set apart from the rest of the Yu-Gi-Oh community. Like we had our own little thing. We enjoyed it. We got to play Yu-Gi-Oh. We're all old. We have wives and families and stuff like that now. We can't keep up with a new set that comes out 2 times a month and new cards, and the format changes every month in Modern and everything like that. Like we just enjoyed playing the game. And Konami was like, no, we're going to stop that. We're going to put a complete halt to that.
To piggyback off what you said, we don't worry about a ban list. We're not constantly nagging or begging for a ban list.
Yep.
The only thing, like you said, we want is for events to be ran fair and to be ran as advertised and by the rules of the time.
Absolutely.
Not that hard. Second off, I don't care who you have judge because 99% of the players playing already know the rulings.
Yep.
And they're not going to call a judge on you. And if they do, so be it. You get a bad ruling. It's happened before.
You get bad rulings in Modern from time to time as well.
Yeah. And I promise you that if I've never had a judge call to me in the Ultimate Time Wizard event. Never. And most people playing already know what they're doing. But we don't clamor for a ban list. We don't whine. We have never gotten on Facebook and complained about anything until they made these rule changes the first time.
Yeah.
And I think what baffles me is these Stampede sets, these rarity collections, the cards that were the money cards of the set were always retro cards.
Yep.
And for all 4 sets, it was retro cards. And to me, I'm like, man, this is great. Konami's looking at us. They're giving us what we want. I get they can't fit every card into a set, but they're giving us some stuff, and I like this.
And for a moment, everything was great.
Just for them to backpedal, not even, 3 months after the last set comes out, and to say, hey, all those cards you bought, we only reprinted them so you can use the new rulings or the new erratas or whatever. Also, we're not going to care about our retro events or anything like that. So this card you just bought with the erratas we want you to use, there's no point in using them.
Yeah.
It's just like they step on their own toes, and I don't know if there's a bigger agenda. I don't know if there's somebody that just hates Ultimate Time Wizard. I see rumblings on Facebook all the time, like, hey, I know why they did this. I know somebody that works there, but then they don't ever say anything. So who knows, man? I don't know if it's a collective group of people, if it's a marketing thing. Who knows?
I genuinely feel as if this is done in some kind of way to kind of almost deter people from playing it, because I truthfully believe at some point the retro scene would overtake or get very close to the popularity of the modern game, because we've talked about it a lot over the course of like the past few years. I don't know how hard you'd have to work to pick up Yu-Gi-Oh from scratch, knowing absolutely nothing, and get into the game. I don't know what it would take to get to like an even semi-competitive level. And I think that they know that. And I think that they saw like the popularity of this, and they kind of saw that as a threat to their main game, as well as I kind of think everything with the RBET kind of pissed them off as well. I don't know, realistically, if that actually had anything to do with it. But, historically, Konami has done some very shady things, like scheduling YCS events like the same weekend as ARG events. So it wouldn't surprise me if they were just like so upset by the fact that they pulled a 300 player RBT tournament the same weekend. Keegan and his guys got it together in like a week's time and planned it, and it looked really, really nice, and it looked like a great event. I don't think that they took that very lightly, personally. I really think that stepped on some toes. But I don't know of anyone that is genuinely happy about these changes. There are people that are like, "Oh, this makes Edison better. This makes Edison better," and I'm just like, that's not true, because you haven't played it. There's no way that you would know it makes it better. It's been like a few hours. Like, people were saying that the first time, like, "Oh man, this is so much better. This has made Edison so much better. It fixes the problems." Like, bro, it's been 15 minutes. You need to chill. You need to chill. You've not played enough games with a high enough sample size to be able to make that statement.
I'll take some blame on that, because I like to troll people. I'm devil's advocate. I could care less what format you like. I play Advanced, I play Edison, you name it all.
You do. You do love trolling people.
I just do it to do it, and it's annoying, right? It's immature, whatever. But
no, I think it's hilarious, personally. But
I was one of those people that were like, let's give it a shot. It's not as bad as it seems.
Yeah.
But I will say, I'm wrong. When I sat down for that hat tournament and was told after the fact that they're changing everything up, I was like, you know what? Now I know why those guys are upset. And
yep.
So I digress. I apologize. I admit when I'm wrong, and I was wrong in that. I'm not saying there isn't some good things about it, but first off, I don't think the two formats can live side by side. It's going to confuse too many people.
I agree.
And it's going to segregate the community, because you will have those people that are like, I can only do Konami events because I don't have a locals within a 2-hour distance, right?
Yep.
So you're pulling those people away. And then you're going to have people that no longer want to go Konami events, which enjoy going to Konami events because, hey, it's a time to get all my friends together. I got friends that play advanced format. We all hang out together like I do, right?
Yeah.
And now you're segregating the community. You're making them choose to play whichever one. And you're going to confuse people, because now you're going to have that kid who just got into the game a year or two ago, whatever it is, and say, oh, I played a tournament last week where Brionac had priority, whatever that is. And now this week you're saying I can't do that. So you're just confusing a crap ton of people.
Yeah, this is going to cause a lot of problems across the board.
It is,
because it's right now they've said it's only tier 2 and higher, so locals will stay the same, but it's still going to cause confusion. You're still going to have people at locals that don't understand the rule set. Then you're going to also have, it's going to trickle into Dueling Book as well, and it's going to be really annoying. And I'm very thankful I don't play Dueling Book, because you're going to have those people that's like, that doesn't have priority. You can't brain control my absolute zero. Call a judge, wait 30 minutes. You know?
And here's another thing too, is the good thing about, retro format rulings and game mechanics is it made the advanced game, modern or advanced format, different than retro Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Two completely different games.
Yeah.
Now that you have time travel, it's more like, okay, I'm playing advanced Yu-Gi-Oh just at a slower pace. So now, tell me why these guys staying in an advanced tournament at a regional would quit playing advanced format to go play a slower version of the game they already play.
Yep.
That does not make any sense, because people like that just don't have the attention. And this will sound crazy. Don't have the attention span to play a slower game of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Especially people that have done nothing but play advanced.
Yeah.
And for me, what I liked about Edison is I can play advanced. I can slow down, not turn my brain off, but I can slow down and play a different game, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah,
now that option
absolutely.
is just completely gone at tier 2 events. And I just don't see people turning out to play time travel. And maybe this is some kind of way to segue into Master Duel, but Master Duel is a different game. Why can't you just do that on Master Duel and leave everything else alone? Like right now, like Konami's problem is getting new players into the game. Number one, they don't have an anime. Anime is the number one gateway into the game. I don't care who you are, what you say, that's the number one gateway. Number two is now
Yeah, you ask
you
any
have time
Yu-Gi-Oh
travel.
player
Yeah,
how they got into the game, and it's almost always I saw
yeah,
the anime. It has
yeah.
to be like Family Feud. That has to be the number one answer.
I'm sorry, but you're not going to have a kid show up. And even now, if a kid gets into an anime, he's going to watch an older series.
Yeah,
And he's going to want to pick up cards. And Edison is the closest format, goat format. A kid watches Duel Monsters on Crunchyroll, and I want to go pick up some cards. Let me get on TCG Player. Oh, they got all these cool cards from the anime that I've seen. What can I play this in? Oh, I can't play any of these cards because they don't do anything in the new rulings or the new game mechanics.
yeah,
Like another deck, Reasoning Gate. It's a deck that you and I both love. And DMOC was just probably the best card in that format. Was just completely neutered.
yeah,
Um, but there's no segue to get new players into the game. So saying that Master Duel brings older players back into the game.
yeah,
That's what I think. That's what I've seen.
yeah,
And a lot of times they want to go back and play retro Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay, well I want to play it how I remember it. I don't care how it's played now. That's not how it was played then.
yeah.
And if I want to play Yu-Gi-Oh how it's played now, I'll just go pick up Fiendsmith Ryzeal and play advanced format.
I do have one
Um, yeah.
caveat I'd like to mention too about the rulings that we were talking about. Is I do think that one thing that inherently flawed Edison from day one is I don't think that they should have taken rulings from SJC Edison and applied them to the actual Time Wizard format. And what I mean is like the rulings from around that time, should still apply, but I'm talking about the ones that they ruled that one weekend, like how Quick Draw Synchron activates. Like
that is, yeah.
They should have been like,
rulings.
look here, like the card does not activate, Swap Frog doesn't activate, they read the same, like, it doesn't activate. There's like some weird rulings with Gladiator Beast Darius and Bottomless Trap Hole that were ruled that way at that event as well. I think that they should have ignored how cards were ruled at that event that are that niche, because that's where a lot of the problems kind of came from. Is like at every Konami event I've ever been to, I've always seen Quick Draw Synchron does not activate. And it's because, Swap Frog doesn't activate. They're from like the same time. So that's like my one thing that I think that is better about it, but that's about it. And those are very niche things as well. Like, let's just face it. Like, if you play Quick Draw, you're probably not topping anyway.
That's why I didn't go to the RBET, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that was really bad from the beginning, and that was kind of bound to cause problems. But also too, I can see it on the other on the flip side, like you want to play the way it was that weekend, but it just kind of made issues and everything like that. But I don't know, man. Like people always say like this is easier on the judges, stuff like that. But I kind of just think for an events of this stature that they just should have had judges that understood the rulings. Like there's archives out there. There's edisonformat.net. There's edisonformat.com. You don't have to like print it out on like a 48-foot banner that you're using edisonformat.com for ruling references. Like you don't have to announce that to the world. But like you could get on there and study it, or you could walk off, like go behind the black curtain, look it up on your phone. Like, let me look up this ruling.
Dude.
And no, it's like, and if Konami doesn't like that, then where's the rulings database? Where's the rulings database?
I know you've seen this too, because I've seen judges get on Yu-Gi-Oh.Wikio.
I have to.
And try to find rulings. And then try to find rulings. And then they're like, okay, well, let me get somebody else. And I've seen them also, like, I've seen somebody else at the table find a ruling, show the judge on their phone, and then the judge go off what they got shown.
Yeah.
And when I judge events, because I've judged the BBG events, is I go to edisonformat.com if I got a question, and more often than not, the answer's right there.
Yeah.
And but I do want to mention something too that I've seen the past couple of days. is without Konami going by Time Wizard in these big events. It is sad to see, man, but a lot of people are just getting rid of their max rarity decks.
I've seen a lot of people getting rid of that stuff as well.
Yeah. And shout out to Nick Collins. He's a great dude. This guy, let me tell you what this guy did, okay?
Hey, hold on. Speaking of Nick Collins, let me go ahead and mention the Midwest Edison Clash. It's going to be taking place in is that Maumee, Ohio? Maumee? Moomie? I don't know. Look that up. Moomie, Ohio. This is August 23rd and 24th. $7,000 in prizing. First place is a SJC Dark End Dragon. Second place is a First Ed Black Rose. Third place, Ulti Kaius. And it keeps scaling from there. I'll make sure I put the event details in the description of this. But you definitely want to go check that out. Nick is doing a great job organizing this event. I think he's got a few of the other big Edison event organizers working aside him for this. It's going to be awesome. I really wish that I'd be able to go. Unfortunately, I won't be there. But Nick is a really cool dude. And how I met Nick initially was Nick actually randomly has been to Mount Airy, which is my hometown, Andy Griffith town, and like eaten at one of my favorite restaurants. It was really weird. But yeah, go ahead and continue with your story of Nick.
Dude, this man messaged me. He was like, "Hey, are you at the event?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I really want all these new pyramid mats." And he sent me the money over. I got all the play mats, and he ended up giving me one of them.
Dude, that's awesome.
Ain't just like, these ain't like no rinky dink play mats. These are like exclusive pyramid mats. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. And he gave one of my friends one too that was also playing in the hat tournament.
Very nice.
That also got screwed over because he plays Bujin, and Bujin Tortoise no longer works in the damage step. So, anyways, sorry, he's eating. But I've seen these people, man. They're selling these max rarity cards because I know Nick's got events coming up. I know there's the RBETs, but a lot of these are on the West Coast. So you might have an RBET pop around your neighborhood once every year or two.
Yep.
If even that. I think there's been one in the past 2 years that's been in like decent driving distance for me to go to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what is the point of me to have my card sitting in a binder? If you love your cards, you've had them for 15 years or whatever, by all means, don't sell them if you don't have to keep them. But for someone like me that gets these cards to go to events, what's the point of me keeping high rarity if there's nowhere for me to play these at?
Yep.
And so a lot of people are just getting low rarity, and they're like, you know what? I'm just going to go to an RBET or whatever, or these other Edison events when they come around town. But I'm not going to invest in the game because there's nothing being returned back to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I agree.
With that being said, yeah, I do want to talk about, because there are going to be people that do these time travel, tournaments. And I'll be honest with you, if there's one around me, I'm probably going to do it too.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier today.
Yeah. It's because I love playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Do you want to go ahead and touch on that, or do you want to save that for a different one?
So we could talk about it. I had said that I think it makes sense for people that are very interested in Edison in the competitive level. This isn't just like your average Joe. It's like playing Morphtronics on a random Tuesday at locals. For people that enjoy friends, competition, and winning, I think that it makes sense to understand how time travel format works. I'm not advocating for anyone to actually go out and like hard grind this format over regular Edison, like and play fake Edison, because that's what it is. It's still fake Edison. But I do think that it makes sense for you to set aside some time to see how your deck translates into time travel format, and if it's playable or if you need to look into a different strategy. Because we were talking about it. If there is the ultimate time travel tournament, which I guess is what it would be called, a lot of the better players aren't going to go to these anymore. So they're going to be a lot easier to win. And obviously we're all good players on our team. Like the other day, I'd asked people to rate everyone on a scale of 1 to 10. Like I was like, no one is lower than 7. It's like we could still win with the good players there. But like, if you just knew how to play time travel format better than like most people, it might be a free way to just win 5K at one event. And now, like, for me personally, like, I'm not traveling to do that. Like, I'm not driving from North Carolina to like 8-10 hours away. But like, if there was one in Raleigh or like Richmond, it's a different story. Like, because I probably would go play in that, and I would have to like take some time to lab, see what deck is good, what side deck cards are good, because it does change everything. So what are your thoughts on all that? Because we were talking earlier about what we felt like the best decks would be in that format.
Yeah, so I talked to you about this earlier, but I still think that Blackwing is going to be the top tier deck, if not the best deck. And here's the reasons why. Because first off, nothing in the main deck is affected by priority.
Yep.
Outside of Taroko, Pump, Gale, and then you have your
Like
Dark-Armed Dragon.
Dark-Armed, yeah.
Yeah. But all your main deck monsters are inherently just very, very powerful. You have Blizzard, which is a 1-card synchro. You have Shura, which is another 1-card synchro. It can beat almost over anything in the format. You have Taroko that can beat over anything in the format. So, and it also has a versatile extra deck. And what I mean by that is like you have 5, 6, 7s, 8s that you go into, and you could even go into a Mistborn if you wanted to. And when I look at cards that are affected by errata, such as Brio, the lack of Goyo in the extra, it does make those Blizzard plays hurt a little bit more because you have to make sure that when you commit to a Brio play that you have protection or that this is going to be the game shot, right? But the fact that you don't need those cards to play like other decks probably do. You can go into Armed Wing, which is something that like outside of value, like other decks just don't have access to. Like if they want a level 6, they have to go into their Iron Chain. They have to go into Brio. They have to go, into Goyo, which is almost everybody's go-to. And now only one deck can play it, and it's not great. And that's X-Saver.
Yeah, X-Saver and Synchro Cat, like the only 2 decks that can make it.
And it's funny too because Cat no longer has priority, so like those decks just got inherently worse too, right?
Yeah, worse than they already were.
Yeah, the fact that Blackwing's can main deck 3 Book of Moons, which not only helps Shura beat over monsters, it also facilitates plays that stop your opponent from cards that typically would have priority. They summon Chaos Orc, okay, Book of Moon it. I summon Debris Dragon, or not Debris Dragon. Things like Card Trooper, Book of Moon it, right?
Yeah.
So you have all these cards that Blackwings can play that just help facilitate their game plan. You have Rivalry of the Warlords. You have Gozen Match. So now they can synchro into Armed Wing. What other deck is there that can synchro someone under Gozen Match outside of Blackwing?
Yeah.
I don't think there is any. And then that's my pick. I know you had some Lightsworn. If you want to go ahead and give the reasons as to why you think that's going to be good.
Yeah. One thing about let me just lightly touch on Blackwings. Everyone kind of thought the doom and gloom of Blackwing was like, oh, this deck can main deck Rivalry and Gozen. It's actually what you said. Like that deck can main deck Triple Book because it's very good. It stops everything and it helps Shura, run over things. The deck can also just play 3 Compulse, which might as well just be Book of Moon 2.0. Like you can dodge things with Shura. You can send things back to the hand. I've seen people go like Shura, kill something, summon Kalut, Kalut kills something, compulse Kalut, other monster attacks something else, drop Kalut. I've seen that exact play happen in regular Edison. So like it's not out of the realm of possibility that Blackwing could just play triple book, triple compulse. Like that is pretty absurd. Like the only thing that's keeping Book of Moon from probably being like a staple of the format is the fact it's very bad versus value. But like if value gets knocked down a peg for whatever reason by not having priority, whatever cards being changed, errated, then Book of Moon kind of just becomes a god card.
And it's like you said, like you're playing all these like defensive yet offensive cards. Like I think if Blackwing, if this comes to fruition, or whatever, I think Blackwing is a deck that could take more of a control approach, and they could ditch the battle traps and put them in the side for the mirror match.
Yeah,
and they could play things like Bottomless, Triple Book, and then like not only is like those are not only offensive cards, they're defensive cards. So if you're not going to summon Goyo, then I'm not afraid of it. Like, I don't need a deep prison in my deck, right? Unless I'm going against the mirror. I'm going to put in Bottomlesses. I'm going to put in Compulses, things that your Brio is going to have. Your Brio is not going to stick. Is pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
And that's the direction I see that deck taking.
Yeah. You had asked me about some takes on Lightsworn. When we went through this the first time, I actually reached out to another creator. I won't say who it was, and just kind of got their thoughts. And they actually felt like Lightsworn could possibly be one of the best decks for a few different reasons. A lot of your cards in Lightsworn do not have priority as it is. Like Lumina uses priority. Lila has what I call fake priority. It's like only used in cases of trying to make things miss timing most of the time. And obviously Judgment Dragon, is the big one. Not having priority can hurt, but for the most part, you're not dropping your big things into back row anyway. Like you're softening up things with Lila, Celestia first. You're going to commit JD after Heavy, after Cold Wave, after True Nade, after MST, so forth and so forth and so forth. And I kind of agree with that. Raikou gets way better with the errata, non-targeting. So like if I flip up a Raikou, you have two back row, one of them's torrential. Like, are you going to torrential and lose the other one? Or are you going to risk that you just lose it anyway? So it definitely adds a lot just having those. Aaron no longer triggers flip effects. So like if Aaron attacks your Raikou, like it doesn't get to resolve. Several things like that get boosted by Lightsworn. And originally I was like, oh, well, Blackwing playing Rivalry is just way too much. But like, if Blackwing is one of the best decks, then I think it makes your deck way too inferior to main deck Rivalry, because like you'll probably be playing a lot of mirrors. So I don't even think that you can play that, because realistically it's just a vanilla card when you play against the mirror. So Lightsworn just has to side maybe a little bit harder, maybe stuff like Twisters. You already side Decree. Fairy Wind is a card that I had on my list for fake Edison, because it can take out like Skill Drain, Rivalry, can take out Oppression, Black Whirlwind, all those cards versus Blackwings. So this is all speculation. I haven't play tested it. I played one match the first time that they did this, and I did win versus Blackwings with Lightsworn in fake Edison. Very small, irrelevant sample size, but I definitely could see it. Even just in regular Edison, as we know and love it, like if you have to drop JD into multiple back row, like you are grasping for straws at that point. Like the game is probably over at that point. So pairing it with a sweeper, I really don't think is that difficult. You're kind of just doing that anyway. So we talked about Frogs. I don't really know if Frogs is like a real deck anymore. You can't. Substitute does not have priority anymore. Swap Frog, if you have 3 Swap Frogs, you can only bounce one of them. Treeborn Frog gets negated by Royal Oppression. The deck gets cooked by Rivalry and goes in. I don't know realistically if Frogs can actually be played in fake Edison at all. Maybe they can. I'm sure if one person can do it, it's probably Rognak. He could probably figure out some way to make it work. Value Turbo, I don't know how hurt Value is by not having priority. Once again, like Bottomless Compulse book on Greffer seems like it could just FTK you a lot of the time. And then Value inherently can be kind of slow if they get interrupted early. My take for the best deck of fake Edison is actually Machina, because nothing changes for that deck at all.
Yeah.
All of like, I don't even, does that deck even have a card that it goes normal priority? Card Trooper? Is that like it?
I think Card Trooper, some people play Scrap Recycler.
Yeah.
I think that might be one of them for like the shuffle effect.
Yeah.
But I think the on summon effect is what sends, right?
I believe so, yeah. And like that deck can just flip Gozen, and now you can't contact with Cyber Dragon because Fortress Dragon is a dark.
Yeah. And not only that, dude, is like, I think gadgets would be really good. You take out the quick draw variants and you just put in the gadgets.
Yeah.
And I think Gadget Machina is just a solid tier deck because nothing's affected by priority.
Yeah, and like Blackwing already really struggles versus Machina anyway.
Yeah.
And like playing book Compulse, don't do anything to that deck. Like you're gonna Compulse back Machina Gear Frame. Like, okay, great.
Yeah, you're gonna Compulse back Fortress. Okay, I'll just discard something else.
Yeah, discard, bring it back. Like it's still in the game. It's still in rotation. I think that's probably the best deck of that format that people kind of just forgot about.
Another thing too is you talked about Frogs. Absolute Zero just got worse.
Absolute Zero no longer triggers if it goes back to the extra deck, correct?
Correct. And so like
but it does trigger if it's removed face down. Is that correct? Or does it not?
It never triggered like that in Edison either.
Okay.
So like if you have a face down Ab Zero and somebody compulsed it.
Yeah.
then in Edison format, that was like the only way to get over it was like
Gotcha.
put
Okay.
it
Yeah.
face down in
Yeah.
embryo.
So
But that
like,
doesn't even work in advanced. But if you attack over a face down ab zero, then of course it's flip face up, and then it would trigger, right?
so I guess I'm saying
But
like in regular Edison, like if I book AZ and then blow it up with Celestia, it doesn't trigger. But does it trigger
no,
in the new format? Like would it trigger in
no,
modern?
no,
Okay.
no, it will not trigger that way. It has to be face up when it leaves the field in modern.
Okay.
So like you would have to link it off or fuse it off or whatever, right?
Gotcha. Okay. I wasn't sure.
So, but
I played with that card in
card,
modern when I played, but it's like nothing.
Yeah.
There was no Book of Moon kind of cards being played.
So that card also just got worse too, right?
Yeah.
But with that being said, I do think that in this new format, your typical hero beat, as in like hero beat stun, that plays, more of like skill drain base, not really miracle fusion, but plays like the skill drain with like the Beast King Barbaros and the Honest and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that might be a solid deck.
There's another reason why that could be kind of solid too, and you probably won't ever guess what it is.
Oh gosh, what is it?
Because with current card text, Prisma sends for cost. So if you have Prisma with skill drain, you can go cost, reveal terra firma, dump ocean, and now Absolute Zero is live. So that's really relevant as well.
And speaking of which, I think that brings us to another deck that we thought would be good, and that is Gladiator Beast.
Yeah, so we talked about it through the lens of like, because at face value, you're like, oh, well, losing priority hurts Test Tiger, but it kind of doesn't, because like, I feel like everything that stops Tiger in real Edison, it's like the same. Like if anything happens to that monster it targets, it doesn't resolve. So in fake Edison, you're like, I have Darius on the field, a special Tiger. And they're like, okay, summon's fine. You're like, tribute Tiger, target guy, and they're like, book, compulse, whatever, hero blast, whatever. And it's the same in Edison. Like it doesn't resolve because the monster can't go back to the deck. So you lose priority, quote unquote, but you don't really lose priority. And like Prisma sends for cost, which is good and bad, because in regular Edison it does not. So if you go Prisma effect, dump Bestiari, and you try to like crow that Bestiari, they can War Chariot you because Prisma, has resolved and it's Bestiari. But in new Edison, it sends for cost, so you can chain crow, banish it, and then they can't War Chariot because it hasn't finished resolving yet. And there's also other little things that you can do, like normal Prisma, cost dump Bestie, chain, call the Haunted, bring back Bestie, and now you get Gazaras through Bottomless because the last thing to happen is Prisma's effect resolves, so they can't Bottomless your Bestie. So there's goods and bads about it for Gladiator Beast, but I could definitely see it being one of the better decks.
Yeah. Overall, though, it just hurts decks. I mean, the decks that are going to stand out are the ones that really just don't have this priority base effects.
Yeah. Lone Fire Blossom is like so cooked. Like every deck that plays Lone Fire is just like so tough to like push Lone Fire through back row because it just loses to everything now.
This format, I feel like, kills GOAT format.
GOAT format is, I think that you can realistically play Edison in time travel and have a good time, but I can't imagine trying to play GOAT with a lot of the cards that have been changed.
No, because the best cards in the format are Chaos Sorcerer, Blackluster Soldier, DMOC,
Ring of Destruction,
Exiled Force, Ring of Destruction, Exiled Force,
Sinister
Serpent. A lot of
Serpent.
these cards, Sinister Serpent, all these cards are pretty much like, I won't say useless, but DMOC is useless, Sinister Serpent is useless, Ring of Destruction just isn't great.
Yeah.
And there are so many traps in that format, like Regeki Break that is played, Phoenix Wing Wind Blast.
Yeah.
All these discard traps, that's what the best deck plays, are just going to kill Chaos Source. You know what I mean? Like, our favorite deck in the format is just dead right now.
Yeah, you can't play Reasoning Gate.
With yeah, so.
Yeah.
It's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, man, because, we've joked, different format communities have joked with each other, Edison players. I don't play anything but Edison. Screw Tengu. Tengu players, screw Edison. GOAT players, sort of stay to themselves.
Yeah.
But now, like, everybody's in unity. Like, hey, man, just leave our formats alone and let us do what we want to do.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you can do that. But I think what hurts us, man, is just now there's going to be so much less events for us to go to. And a lot of people, man, and it's not a knock on these other events because those tops do matter. I'll tell you this every day that dueling book tops are not legit. I don't care about dueling book. I look at in real life events, and that's not because I haven't topped a dueling book event. It's because I think in order to get the full experience of the game, you have to be in person. And a lot of these people, they do only recognize Konami tops, and that's okay too. And now, like there's just not going to be a lot of those events going on the way that you're used to playing them.
Yeah.
So that hurts those guys too. But it's like you said, hey, if you want to do time travel, I think that when those first couple events kick off, if you want to top and you're a good player, I think that's your chance to do it.
I do too. Absolutely. Yep. We kind of wanted to lightly, and we can kind of close on this, touch on the changes of time travel format erratas in Edison. So Future Fusion is basically cooked. I don't really see a world where Future Fusion could possibly be good. There's just too much spot removal in Edison. It's like the reason why like most floodgates aren't good in the formats, because there's way too much spot removal to just get rid of it. The fact it has to stick around, it's really, really tough. Brain Control, personally, I still think that card is an auto include for most decks. I'm not going to say there were never times when you weren't brain controlling Colossal Fighter and attacking with it for game, because I know that there were. But a lot of times it was like, I'll brain control your guy, tribute for Caius. I'll brain control your guy, summon Plague, make a synchro. So forth and so forth and so forth. So I think that card, I think you still definitely play that card. And I'm kind of drawing a blank. Goyo Guardian is unplayable unless you play Synchro Cat or X-Sabers. Brionic, at first glance, doesn't seem that bad until you think about the fact that it no longer has priority. It's a once per turn effect, and you can't target your own cards with it.
And it's going to hurt too, because there are going to be people that summon Brio, and they're like, okay, well, I only got this once per turn. I'm going to pitch 3 cards into my hand just to meet a bottomless. Or not a bottomless, but
Herald of Orange Light. Because that's where my mind went. Because that was always how you could know if someone was good or not when they play against a deck with Herald. If they went Brio, like bounce your board and like Brio pitch 4. I've got to Herald someone on Brio pitch 4 before. When if they had just went 1 by 1, they probably would have ended up winning. But you can't do that anymore. You have to go pitch 4. And if they have Herald, you're cooked. Game's over. Hope you have my body as a shield.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another card. That card works does that card work in the damage step now?
Yes, because it negates the activation.
Yeah. So my body's a shield can work in the damage step now.
Raikou does not target.
Raikou does not target.
Stardust Dragon cannot negate it. Titanial cannot negate it. Nope. Some more cards that we had mentioned too. Oh gosh, it was on the tip of my tongue. Keep talking. I'll come back to it. I forgot what it was.
I know that there's more, and I just can't think of what they are right now. But those are a lot of them.
The Colossal Armory Arm FTK does not work.
I think that does work. I'm pretty sure because Frazier tried to host some tournaments for Fake Edison the first go around, and that was like a very commonly asked question, and he said that it still works from his research. I think they had changed it back. But like it doesn't even matter because like no deck can do it for the most part.
Yeah, Frog is like the big deck, and now like that deck is just inherently worse. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think of some other cards that got changed too.
I know we should have compiled like a whole list of things for this because now we just can't even think about any cards that are changed.
Goya is not playable outside of X-Sabers. So like your level 6 pool, you just have to put in like Gaia Knight, which is not great by any means. Or
let's see, Sangan is kind of irrelevant, but you can't like your Sangan can't die, search Crow, then use Crow that same turn.
Yeah. Or search Herald, activate Herald the same turn kind of thing.
Yeah. Or even Honest. Even being like sometimes like that card searching Honest in Twilight could come up.
Well, because you just Sangan attack into a monster, grab Honest, attack over with another monster, and you have a game.
Exactly. Like one of the biggest plays that comes up in Twilight is Sangan Plague, Android, get Honest, Android kill something, drop Honest. This is one I can't believe we forgot about. Freaking Necro Valley negates everything. It negates everything.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't matter if you mill Wolf. It's negated. It's not coming out.
Yeah, that's a really big one too. So that deck, even though it doesn't have like recruiter and stuff like that, it's got inherently better too.
Yes.
Especially with cards like Rivalry now because they're all spellcaster, right?
They're all spellcaster and they're all dark. Except for Command It.
so,
Command It is randomly Earth.
Yeah, that's fine, but you're gonna discard him anyways. So like that's crazy to think.
Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon is a hard once per turn.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah, Dragon Turbo just got inherently worse.
Yeah, I don't. There's no world that deck is actually playable.
No, Preborn Frog. We know we talked about Frog. Preborn Frog is, I think it is once per turn per copy, right?
Yep. So the only way you can get around oppression is if you have. Well, I mean, I guess you can't even get around it with 2 because they'll just negate both of them.
Yeah, I know that you can still do the Treeborn Frog Econ Treeborn Frog play.
Yep.
But you can only activate his effect for that because it's a different copy at that point, right?
Yeah, it's considered to be a different copy.
If you activate it and you oppression, yeah, you just it's dead. Light and Darkness Dragon can out Treeborn Frog now, which is insane to think.
Card effects can be negated, quote unquote, by DD Crow. I can't think of a situation in Edison, but like for like if you pitch Marksman off Teus or something, they crow, like you don't get the effect.
Yeah, another one too, I think, is if you pitch Dandelion for cost, is it?
Oh yeah, like if you
cost.
It's not, but like if you go like Regeki Break, pitch Dandy, they can chain Crow, and then the tokens don't come out. Yeah, that's one as well.
Yeah, that's
something that makes me sad about this is the fact that there are cards on the ban list now that could 100% just be legal in other formats because they're not good anymore. Like Crush Card. Crush Card's a terrible card. Like that card doesn't even do anything with its errata.
Yeah.
Like that card could have been legal and not changed anything. Or with this change, like it doesn't, like no one would even play it.
I am curious to see what cards are going to make their way into the format that I've not seen play before.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think Fairy Wind is one of them personally.
Yeah. What does Fairy Wind do? Because I forgot.
Destroys all face-up spell and trap cards your opponent controls, and they take 300 for each.
Yeah. So little cards like that like inherently just are bad because cards do have priority.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder what somebody's going to find. And don't get me wrong, I think it is going to be a refreshing take on the format. I think that all of the format is solved discussions might die down.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is how we wanted to do it, right?
Definitely not. Definitely not. Definitely not. I think that we covered all of them. I'm sure when this airs, there'll be ones that we ended up forgetting about, but it's too much to even cover in one episode. But for the most part, I think we covered most of the changes. And ultimately, guys, like at the end of the day, like just play what makes you happy. And it doesn't matter, that someone prefers time travel over regular, Time Wizard Edison. I wish that there was a world where they could just both coexist and everyone could just play what they wanted to. Konami's like, hey, we're going to run these pods, Ultimate Time Wizard, we're going to run time travel. Everyone can play whatever they want to. And like, because there are people like, no, I do not think, me personally, I do not think that time travel Edison is better than regular Edison. It is fake Edison. It will always be fake Edison. But like, if you want to play it and that's your thing, that's fine. But don't come at me saying like, oh, well, you're playing Edison with playground rules. That doesn't make sense. Like, you just make yourself sound like an idiot. Like, stop saying things like that. It's just like blatantly just not true. Like, if you're not good at Edison, just say that you're not. Like, don't try to mask it with some facade by saying it's playground Edison. It's the rulings aren't real, stuff like that, because they were real. There are people that have won tens of thousands of dollars from playing Edison and other retro formats. Like, that's disrespectful to them for you to say stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah. So, I think, like I said, I think that people should become acquainted with time travel if your goal is to play in tournaments and win money. If that's not your goal, then, that's fine. The RBET circuit is still great. They're going to always be going off of old rulings, era accurate rulings. It's awesome. Keegan's a great guy. What he's done for the Edison community is amazing. Putting together that RBT Indy as last minute as it was, and to have the amount of players that it did, it is honestly so crazy, dude, because like his events will never be as big as Konami just because he doesn't have the reach. Like he doesn't have a marketing team, spending thousands of dollars on commercials and Facebook ad boosts and whatever. But the fact that he got that event to cap and he gave away a lot of the money for charity, and the mats were clean. The mats are selling for like, I don't even know. Like I saw a mat go for like $1,800 from that event, which is crazy. And like just all around, like just thankful for him, what he's done, what he continues to do. Support him in his tournament. Support the Midwest tournament by Nick Collins. Support the PPG tournaments. Edison started out as a grassroots community. We don't need Konami. We never did. Like you can keep playing. Currently, as it stands right now, it seems like locals are unaffected, which would have been the thing that affected me the most currently in my current stage of life. I'd have been like, what the hell? Like I can't even go to locals once every 3 months and play Edison. Like I have to play this new shit now. So I'm thankful for that. Yeah. And like you said earlier, I am glad that the Time Wizard community, the retro community, is kind of like united now. It's just like, we don't like this. It doesn't matter if you play Goat, Edison, Tengu, Hat, Critter, whatever. Like none of us wanted this. We don't like this. And commenting some vomiting animal memes on Konami's posts, that never hurt anything before, so maybe you should keep doing that.
I think too, be civil. We got this reversed one time. We can do it again.
Yeah, and I said this the first go round. If you're not happy with it, email them and tell them why you're not happy about it. Don't email them and say suck my dick. Like that.
If anything,
it's crazy. Like don't do that. Explain why, even if it's a copy paste of something else. Like explain why you don't like it.
If anything, you're forcing somebody to have to read an email.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I actually said? I want to say this really quickly before we end. I had said in the Discord the other day, I said for the first time travel tournament, everyone should enter with the exact same 40 cards, and it should be Doom Caliber Knight, Black Garden, Light and Darkness Dragon, Convulsion of Nature, Parasite, like just every card that just makes the tournament just a terrible experience for judges. We should just use all of them, because for Parasite, a judge has to shuffle every time you shuffle because there's a face-up card in the deck. And obviously that's like colluding, and you probably would end up getting banned for it, but can they realistically ban 500 people or 300 people? And that was when I was like blowing off steam. I was like, maybe they'll realize like the rulings they had to deal with weren't that bad. It's like, you imagine when there's like a Doom Caliber on the field versus a face-up lad with Black Garden, Convulsion of Nature's active. Like if Parasite goes to your opponent's deck while Convulsion of Nature's face up, what happens? Like go find that in your little document of rulings, your database. Like it doesn't exist. So
Konami just made a post. It says has a picture of Glow Up Bulb on it. And I said, great, I can play it in time travel Tengu format.
Guys,
I think that about wraps it up for tonight, man.
I think that wraps it up. Everything we say in this podcast, we usually give our honest thoughts. Sometimes we're just memeing. Please don't play Doom Caliber Knight, lad, Black Garden, Convulsion of Nature. Please don't do that to your judges.
Time travel doesn't matter because we're both going to be banned after this anyway.
Honestly, like the next tournament, they're like, yeah, we canceled Ultimate Time Travel because like 175 people entered with the same deck list, and we're just not doing this.
It's going to have Jonathan Moore. Welcome back to the house, and it looks like a buyout on Doom Caliber Knight.
Yeah, like I'd said years ago, it'd just be funny to build a deck like that. And the number one trolliest card is Darkness Approaches, which if you don't know what that does, originally it was you discard 2 cards, target a monster on the field, flip it face down without changing its position. So it was the one card in the game that could cause a monster to be face down attack mode. And it's been eroded, obviously, to just change it face down defense. But yeah, I was just like, yeah, let's just play that and like all those other crazy cards. But I think that's about all that we have for tonight's episode, guys. This has been a really fun one. Leave your thoughts on time travel versus Time Wizard format down below. If you prefer time travel over Edison, I would really like to know why that is. don't just comment and say because regular Edison's fake. It's his playground rules. Like I'll be honest with you. I'm going to delete your comment because you're just bantering off bullshit that is backed by nothing. You're just typing shit. So tell me,
I'll be the first one to comment that.
Tell me realistically, and use your brains, use your Yu-Gi-Oh brain, why you feel like time travel is better. And if it's actually something that you're explaining why it's better, I'll leave the comment. But if you just say because Edison sucks, I'm deleting it because there's no point in leaving it there.
You hear that, Brian Walters?
I don't even know who that is.
He's the guy that made the Edison Hate Duelist.
Dude, no, that guy's a legend. I love that page because as much as I love Edison, everything he posts in that group is true. It's like Vayu Turbo for dummies. That's like summon Greffer pitch Vayu. Wow, this is skillful. Like,
no, I love it too.
There's one he posted. It was like X Saber for dummies. It had Dark Soul. It was like, this card isn't out yet. Stop trying to make it good. It was so good.
I saw one. My favorite one was the Dragon Turbo. It said, draw Future Fusion, you win. Don't draw Future Fusion, game 2.
Yeah, that group's amazing. All right, guys. That's all we have for this one. This is Mike and Justin from the Edison Club, signing out until the next one.
Hamster Ryko Caius, Hamster Ryko Caius. I go check the pairings, I'm like, don't know who this guy is. Hamster Ryko Caius, Hamster Ryko Caius. 2-0 every round, man, and I ain't even trying. It's just Hamster Ryko Caius, Hamster Ryko Caius, Hamster Ryko Caius.